is obviously about Nelson Mandela. And there's some very poignant things that I saw the movie this past week, and I don't think my eyes are dry the whole movie. It's so powerful because it's a movie about forgiveness. It's a movie about letting Spirit do Spirit's work, even in the face of a challenge that you have no idea how to deal with. And so Nelson Mandela is in prison for 27 years. Now, we all know this, but sometimes it's hard to put a context on 27 years. And I was thinking about it, and 27 years is my entire ministerial career, including my training. So that would mean that in 1982, I went into jail. And I just got out. That's the context. So he's in jail in South Africa as a result of the apartheid laws and his work against those laws. And when he was released from jail, when the laws were changed, and he became president. So you can imagine being 27 years in jail, and now you're president of 43 or 48 million people in this country. There you are. And so the predominant sort of energy field around the people that were around him were, now it's our turn to get even. That's the message that he was getting. And he sat down and he said, no, our job is to do what they don't expect us to do. Our job is to forgive. And in forgiveness is our freedom. And from that moment forward, from that experience, he was looking for something to bring the people together. And the sport of rugby was an Afrikaner sport. And so the black community rooted against the other team, which as you saw in the clip. And so it was a real divisive sort of thing. The black community played soccer, the white community played rugby. And so the black community hated the rugby team. And so they were going to disband it, and he stopped them from doing that. He stepped in through his words and inspiration, said, no, there's something more going on here. And so he had the rugby team go out. First off, he challenged the rugby team to win the World Cup, which was to be held in Johannesburg that year, 1995. And then he had the team do the unusual thing of going out into the countryside on a bus, doing a tour in all these communities that they had never visited, and working with all the young black children and interacting with them and teaching them the game of rugby. And so then they moved into the tournament experience, and victory after victory after victory, and finally, and we know the outcome of the story, it's not about the outcome. It's about the journey. It's the experience of the journey. And so they're all in the stadium. It's sold out in Johannesburg. They're all over the country. They're listening to it on the radio, watching it on television, and they have all these different places where they show this. And they win. They beat a team that had literally destroyed every other team in its path from New Zealand. They beat this team. And it wasn't the joy of victory. It was the joy of transformation that showed up in that experience. You know, we use all these terms like victory and defeat, and we have all these terms in our language that we use, like in relation to the war on drugs and the war on this, and we fight that. And when are we going to shift our consciousness where we begin to use terms like transformation and embracing and love and forgiveness and those kinds of energies? And so out of this victory over this team was a transformation. That's where the joy was, because everybody was celebrating together. It brought them together in forgiveness. And that's how Spirit works when we get an idea and we let Spirit do what Spirit has to do. If we challenge those who need to be challenged, if we set the tone and the stage in our life, if we step forward and allow it to take place, then the jobs that we need, the things that we need to happen in our life, if we step back and allow them to happen, if we allow Spirit to move in our life, if we allow the Christ presence to show up, if we set the intention and then just do what we're guided to do and watch Watch how things unfold, and you will be transformed. You cannot help it, because your life becomes a magical journey, an experience of transformative moments, because Spirit's showing up in your life. And this film was a perfect demonstration of that, because it embodies all the principles that we teach about forgiveness and freedom.